Hey y'all, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to be talking about how to keep your makeup fresh and looking good on your face all day. I was talking with one of my friends about this and she was asking me about it, and I thought it would be a great idea for a video. But before I begin with some tips and tricks, I want to address why makeup breakdown happens in the first place. So we all have natural oil production on our skin, some more than others, some might have a lot less than others. But usually when people experience makeup kind of breaking down and you can begin to see the lines or it looks really cakey by the end of the day, that usually means that you have a little bit more oil production and your skin is breaking down, the oils in your skin are breaking down the makeup. So that happens because the natural oils in your skin break up some component in the makeup. Even if your makeup is oil-free or if your makeup has oil in it, it just is naturally a breaking down sort of element, and your makeup can't counteract the oiliness in your skin. So what you can do is take some steps to prevent the oil production from overacting and like overcompensating what your makeup is meant to do. So the best way to do this is to start before you even put on makeup. If you have extremely oily skin, I would recommend using a gel cleanser. And you can buy them in the drugstore. You can buy like the CVS brand, the Walmart brand, whatever. As long as it's a gel-based cleanser, because those are usually better at breaking down the oils in your skin. And it's a good idea to wash your face. You should wash your face in the morning before you put on makeup. But when you use a gel cleanser, it just kind of breaks down the natural oils that are on your skin. So you're not putting makeup on top of sort of an already oily surface. Another great tip that I recommend, I do this all the time, I kind of swear by this product, is witch hazel. And this is sort of a funny brand. So here they call it Maravilla lotion, which explains why nobody knew what I was talking about when I was asking for witch hazel. But yes, just pure witch hazel. You can get it at Target, Walmart, pretty much any drugstore. It's really, really easy to find, actually, and it's a great astringent, but it's not a super harsh astringent, but I find that it helps keep my oil production at bay without drying my skin out too much, and it just kind of helps break down the oils that are naturally on my skin. So after I wash my face in the morning, I take a cotton pad, I just squirt some on there, rub it all over my face. It's super refreshing, and it feels really, really good on my skin. I don't have a problem with the smell. That's the biggest complaint I've heard about it, though. My mom cannot stand the smell of this stuff. But if you can look past that, this is a great idea to invest in. It's actually extremely inexpensive. It's much better to buy this instead of buying a toner with witch hazel, because you're usually paying for a lot of other extra unnecessary ingredients when the active ingredient is witch hazel. If you just buy a thing of witch hazel, then it'll last you so much longer and you can just use a little bit. So after I've done that on my face, I put a primer on. I don't need to moisturize my skin in the mornings. I usually just use an intensive night moisturizer, but if you have dry skin, then you might need to use a moisturizer. But I always recommend using a primer. If you do use a moisturizer, use a primer after your moisturizer, after it's all soaked in. Neutrogena has come out with a new line, and they have primers and powders and all this stuff. But they have one, it's in this similar packaging. I actually don't have the primer that I'm specifically referring to, but it's a shine control primer, but it's in this packaging, but it's black. And it's got a rice complex in it. So what rice does is it helps like absorb and control the oil production. So any oil that's produced on your skin, the primer, the first layer that you've put on, absorbs that oil so it doesn't actually get to the layer of your actual foundation. If you look for anything that says a mattifying primer and you apply that to your skin before your foundation, you'll notice a huge difference in, one, the oil production, and two, the longevity of your makeup. You'll see that your makeup's going to last a lot longer because you're not going to have that oily breakthrough. After you've applied your foundation and your powder, whatever you're going to use, I would recommend sticking with powder cheek products like a powder blush, a powder bronzer. If you move into the gel spectrum and you have oily skin, you're kind of playing with fire there. You've already mattified everything and then you're adding moisture back into the skin. You're going to look pretty oily by the end of the day. But if you stick with powder bronzers and powder blushes, you'll notice that that also helps to absorb any oil that's produced in the skin. I recommend this fantastic little product that's also from the Neutrogena Shine Control line. And see, it has this rice protein complex. The primer has the same thing. And it's a translucent powder. It looks super duper white here, but it comes off translucent. And I like to take a big kabuki brush, a big fluffy brush like this, swirl it into the product, tap it in, tap off any excess. So I have, it looks like that. And then I just take it in my T-zone. And it helps just absorb any oil that may be produced. I like to use a product like this instead of adding more of my colored powder that I would use to set my foundation, because it doesn't look cakey. If I kept applying colored powder throughout the day, I ended up with this like caked on face of a powder, which I definitely don't want. So it's nice to use a translucent powder with the sole purpose of mattifying to really help control any oil. So I would recommend doing that right after you apply your makeup in the morning, and then throwing this sucker in your makeup bag and just keeping these two with you throughout the day. And if you notice any oil, I would first blot it off with some sort of blotting sheet. These are from Boscia. They're the green tea blotting sheets, but you can get the clean and clear ones that I'm sure we all had when we were in high school. Any really sort of blotting sheet, blot off the oil and then just buff on some of this powder. And I think you'll notice that your makeup is going to stay on your face a lot longer and it's going to look a lot fresher. And another really important aspect to keeping your makeup on your face is not touching your face. It's really hard. It's really hard for me. I'm always like scratching my eyes or doing something with my face. But if you can try and keep your hands off of your face, the natural oils on your hands aren't going to get on your face and help break down that makeup. If you are experiencing your makeup looking really, really cakey on your skin, even like 1 hour after you apply it, and you feel like you can kind of see the makeup settling into lines that you may have on your face or like certain wrinkly areas, you're most likely applying too much foundation. You really do need less foundation than you think. I think a lot of people, especially when they apply it with their fingertips, kind of just squirt on the foundation and then just like rub it on all over the place, put some powder on, and they are kind of good to go. But I really feel like if you cut down on the amount of product you used and maybe use something like a brush or a damp brush to even shear it out even more, you'll notice that your makeup's going to adhere to your skin better and it's not going to be as piled on, and it's going to look a lot fresher and more natural. So that's pretty much it for the tips and tricks. I hope you guys found this informative. I definitely recommend, out of all of these products, I think starting off with a clean surface with something like witch hazel is really going to help you out. And I hope you guys like this. I will talk to you in the next video. Bye. Oh, to be a cat. Hi, Simone. Meow. What you doing? Being a lazy bum?